One of the most heartbreaking things I hear caregivers say is they're just being stubborn. He's doing it for attention. He's being so manipulative. She's just not even trying. And I understand why you reach those conclusions, because when you're exhausted, frustrated, and watching someone you love behave in ways that don't make sense, it's natural to try to explain the behavior. And those responses are the most logical to you. But after nearly 2 decades in this field, I've learned something important. Many dementia-related behaviors aren't actually behavioral problems. I know. They're brain symptoms. And when you understand what's happening underneath the behavior, everything changes because the behavior starts making sense. And when behavior becomes understandable, it often becomes much easier to respond to effectively. So today, I want to walk you through 7 common dementia-related behaviors that families often misinterpret and explain what's actually happening in the brain instead. Hi, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. Before we dive into the behaviors, think about the warning lights on your car dashboard. Imagine you're driving and suddenly a warning light comes on. You could spend hours staring at the light. You could become frustrated by the light. You could wish the light would go away. But the light isn't actually the problem. The light is pointing to the problem. Something underneath the hood needs attention. Well, dementia behaviors often work in the same way. The behavior is the warning light. The brain change is what's happening underneath the hood. And when you focus only on the behavior, you often miss what's really driving it. So let's start with one of the most common examples. First behavior. They're not being stubborn, they're struggling with cognitive flexibility. This is probably the behavior I hear misinterpreted most often. Caregivers will say they've become so stubborn. They argue about everything. They refuse to change plans. They won't listen. But what often looks like stubbornness is actually reduced cognitive flexibility. The brain is having more difficulty shifting gears, adapting, changing direction, considering alternatives. Imagine driving a train instead of a car. A car can easily change lanes, take a detour, adjust to new information. A train can't. Once it's on the tracks, changing direction becomes much harder. That's often what cognitive flexibility looks like in dementia. The person isn't necessarily trying to be difficult. Their brain is struggling to switch tracks. And when care partners understand that, they stop asking, how do I make them stop being so stubborn? And start asking, how can I make transitions easier? That's a completely different response. A bit of a disclaimer here. If your person with dementia was always a bit obstinate, well then, add the cognitive inflexibility that comes with dementia, and now their stubbornness may be even worse. I'm sorry. Second behavior. They're not ignoring you. They may be overloaded. Another complaint I hear all the time is, I just told them. It's like they're not listening. They completely ignore me. But sometimes the issue isn't attention, it's processing. Imagine your home internet slowing dramatically. Although the website still exists, the information is still available, everything takes longer to load. The dementia brain can work similarly. As processing speed slows down, the brain has fewer resources available. So when there's too much information, too much noise, too many choices, too many instructions, their system becomes overloaded. The person may appear to be ignoring you, but what's really happening is that their brain is just struggling to access everything as quickly as it used to. This is one reason shorter instructions often work better. One step at a time, one question at a time. Our motto here on this channel is short phrases and long pauses. Quick pause, care partners. If you are getting some value from this video, even if it's a little bit, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That small action tells YouTube to send this to other care partners who are also struggling. Thank you. Third behavior. They're not being manipulative. They're trying to reduce uncertainty. This one surprises a lot of care partners because repetitive questions can feel incredibly frustrating. Where are we going? What time is it? When are we leaving? You answer, then answer again, then answer again, and eventually it can start to feel intentional. But most of the time, it isn't manipulation, it's anxiety. Imagine waking up every day with gaps in your understanding of the world. You don't know what's happening next. You don't remember what someone told you 5 minutes ago. You don't fully understand the things that are happening inside of your body. The brain naturally tries to reduce uncertainty, and the one way that we do that is by seeking reassurance. The question isn't always about asking for information. Sometimes they're asking the question seeking comfort, and that's an important distinction. Here's a perfect example that I think a lot of you will relate to. When you were young and you were in your single days dating and you were confused about whether or not someone liked you, you often went to a friend. You explained what you did on the date and you would ask the friend a ton of questions. Do you think she's going to call me back? Do you think I made a good impression? Do you think, etc., etc., etc.? Now, your friend didn't have the answer to your questions. You weren't really looking for those answers. You were looking for reassurance because you were confused about something. You weren't quite sure what was going to happen next. Well, that's kind of what it's like with dementia as well. When your loved one is confused and not sure of what's going to happen next, they get anxious. Their brain craves certainty, and so they're seeking reassurance from you. Fourth behavior, they're not refusing help, they're protecting autonomy. This is one of the most frustrating situations that you care partners face. You can clearly see that they need help, but every offer is met with, no, I'm fine, I can do it myself, I don't need your help. And from a care partner's perspective, it can feel completely irrational, especially when safety is involved. But let's take a look at it from their brain's perspective. Imagine, little by little, people beginning to take over parts of your life. They remind you to take your medications, they tell you when to eat, they tell you when to shower, they start managing your schedule, they start questioning your decisions. Even when those interventions are necessary, they can feel threatening because autonomy is one of our most basic human needs. The desire to maintain independence doesn't disappear because someone develops dementia. In many ways, it actually intensifies it. Why? Because the person can often feel that things are changing, and when life feels uncertain, people naturally hold tighter to the areas where they feel they can still enact some kind of control. So what looks like refusal may actually be their ill attempt at trying to preserve dignity, trying to preserve their independence, trying to maintain some sense of control. This is one reason offering choices can be such a game changer. Instead of, it's time for your shower, you can offer something like, would you like to shower before breakfast or after breakfast? The task still remains the same, care partner, but now you've given them a bit more agency, a bit more control, and a bit more autonomy. Fifth behavior, they're not seeking attention, they're seeking reassurance. I often hear care partners say, they need constant attention, Dr. Sinclair. They follow me everywhere. They can't leave me alone for 5 minutes. They're always calling my name. And while that can be absolutely exhausting, attention may not be what they're seeking. Think about how a young child behaves in an unfamiliar environment. They check to make sure a trusted adult is nearby, not because they're manipulating anyone, but because proximity creates a sense of safety for them. As dementia progresses, the world often becomes less predictable, less understandable, less familiar, and that uncertainty can create anxiety. One way the brain responds to anxiety is by seeking reassurance in the same way that that young child may seek reassurance in a trusted adult. Reassurance that someone is there. Reassurance that everything is okay, reassurance that they're not alone. So when your loved one follows you from room to room, they're not necessarily demanding attention. They may be seeking a sense of safety and security. And that distinction matters because knowing that will allow you to respond in a different way. Sixth behavior, they're not being mean, they're struggling with emotional regulation. This is one of the most painful behaviors families experience. The angry comments, the accusations, the criticism, the irritability, and often you tell me they were never like this before. And you're right. The changes that you're witnessing are changes to the frontal lobe, possibly. The frontal lobe helps to regulate emotions, control impulses, filter reactions. And as those systems become less efficient, emotions can become more difficult to manage for them. Think about what happens when you're tired, when you're exhausted, when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed. You probably have less patience and less emotional reserve as well. The dementia brain is operating under those conditions all the time by virtue of having dementia. Their brain is working harder and they have less emotional reserves. Now add confusion, fear, loss of independence, difficulty understanding what's happening, and suddenly emotional responses are so much easier to trigger. Now, this doesn't mean that hurtful comments don't hurt. Of course they do. But understanding the brain changes that's bringing about this new personality can help to depersonalize it. You don't take it as personal because it's not about you. It's about the brain changes. Instead of asking, why are they being so mean to me? You start asking, what is their brain struggling with right now? And that shift often reduces a tremendous amount of self-blame and even guilt that you've done something wrong. Next behavior, they're not doing it on purpose. They may lack awareness of the problem altogether. Now, if you've watched my channel for a period of time, you knew this one was coming because this may be one of the most important concepts for you to understand. Many care partners say they know exactly what they're doing, Dr. Sinclair. They're choosing to be this way. They're choosing not to listen to me. They're in denial. Sometimes that's true, but oftentimes it's not. Sometimes it's a phenomenon known as anosognosia. And it means the person genuinely may not recognize the difficulties you're seeing. They may not see the memory problems. They may not recognize the safety concerns. They may not understand your worries. Not because they're being difficult, but because their awareness system is failing them. This is why arguing often fails. You cannot reason someone into awareness if the brain system responsible for awareness is damaged. And this realization changes everything for you because you stop asking, how do I get them to admit there's a problem? And you start asking, how do I keep them safe despite their lack of awareness that there is a problem? Now that's a much more useful question to ask. Here's the big takeaway, care partners. Let's step back for a moment. The next time your loved one does something that frustrates you, I want you to pause and ask yourself, is this behavior a problem or is this a brain symptom? Am I focusing too much on the dashboard light and do I need to look under the hood? Because what looks like stubbornness may actually be cognitive inflexibility. What looks like ignoring you may actually be overload. What looks like manipulation may actually be anxiety. What looks like refusal may actually be a need for autonomy. What looks like attention seeking may actually be a need for reassurance. What looks like meanness may actually be emotional dysregulation. And what looks like denial may actually be anosognosia. The behavior is the dashboard light. The brain change is what's happening underneath the hood. And when you learn how to decode these warning lights, caregiving starts to make a lot more sense. To wrap up, care partners, most of you are told what dementia is. Very few of you are taught how to decode the behaviors that you're going to see. And that's exactly why I created the Confident Caregiver Academy, because understanding behavior is important, but knowing what to do in the moment about those behaviors, now that builds confidence. Inside the Academy, I teach care partners how to understand what's happening underneath the behavior and how to respond effectively when challenges arise. If you're watching this and thinking, I need help, then go ahead and schedule a call with me below to see if the Academy is a good fit. We are actually welcoming a small group of families into our next cohort. There are currently 4 openings available, so go ahead and schedule that call. Now let's come back to that dashboard warning light. When a warning light appears in your car, you don't blame the light. You get curious about what it's trying to tell you. Dementia behaviors deserve the same approach. So the next time your loved one does something confusing, upsetting, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what might their brain be struggling with right now? Because that single question can completely change the way you respond, and often it also changes the outcome of the interaction as well. If today's video was helpful, let me know in the comments which of these 7 behaviors have you experienced the most, and also which of these explanations maybe surprised you the most. I read as many of the comments as I can, and your experiences often help to inspire future videos. So thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.